In my previous video, I gave my legitimate criticism of the group Neurodiverse UK and showed people that I was slandered by Shirley Jones, one of the admins there. And I posted that video in the group, Neurodiverse UK, expecting that they would see my positions and valid points that I made, and that they would do the right thing and apologize and retract their slanderous statements. So not a problem so far, right? Well, not a single one of them addresses any of my points, not even one of them. But what they do next is even more shocking. You know, instead of doing the right thing and apologizing and issuing a retraction for their slander, all these people in Neurodiverse UK, including admins, actually make up even more of this just vicious slander. And then I get kicked from the group, you know, despite doing absolutely nothing wrong. Yeah. No, I'm not kidding. You know, get a load of this. This is the very first comment that I receive. Still out here with petty videos, I see. So I ask him, you know, what the hell are you talking about? And he says, oh, you made the video because you didn't get acclaim and discussion. Well, no, I made a comparison between the amount of discussion on my video versus the amount of discussion on this meme, you know, that's spouting this extremist nonsense. Yeah, it's very strange. And you know, that an AS group that is supposedly full of AS people would have next to nil discussion on something so serious, yet all this discussion on some extremist nonsense that makes us look crazy. Yet he didn't understand the point I was making with that comparison and just makes up this nonsense about my motivations.
Is there actually any group you have joined that you haven't taken, caused issues with? I don't even know you, but I can count at least 4 groups where you have done the same thing.
Okay, there are 0 groups that I have joined and caused issues with. 0. Okay, again, this is something that's well documented and publicly available at that, you know, proving that I did absolutely nothing wrong. Yes, there is a pattern, and it shows that there's a very serious problem with AS groups that genuine AS people face. Okay, there is indeed this extremism that's taking over these groups. You know, the evidence is clear on that, you know, for anyone that looks at it. You know, yet this guy wants to just ignore the evidence and just pretend that the problem is me.
This is why he has fewer than 30 friends. He refuses to show his face on his profile. Truth and honesty are expensive commodities and shouldn't be expected from cheap people.
Okay, and here I'm now being accused of lying. So I asked her to show me exactly where I've told a lie, and yet she doesn't.
Legitimate criticism is based on fact and truth, something you seem incapable of.
Again, I ask her to show me where I've been dishonest, and again, she doesn't.
You are friends with David Wolf, aren't you? You double-speak just like he does, always deflecting, never answering the question, demanding people believe you based on nothing but your word and opinion.
So instead of showing me, she just repeats her false accusations over and over. Yeah, I asked her to show me exactly where I've been dishonest, and she doesn't provide me anything. Instead, she just says,
oh, people know me and my credentials, which aren't on my page. Smiley face.
Okay, the reason why she can't provide any evidence to back up her false accusations is because she is the liar. Yeah, she is the one dodging my question. She is the one making up lies and expecting people to believe it on her word alone.
As an Aspie and an advocate, I've been through your profile. Your YouTube videos lack science credence, and you seem to lack even a basic understanding of autism.
Yeah, I don't believe she's an Aspie. Okay, I don't. Because I'm actually the administrator for our local social group, where we probably have combined roughly 150 years of experience, combined, of course. Not with being a child on the spectrum, but being adults on the spectrum. Yeah, I've met many other AS people in real life, and we don't act anything like this person. Yeah, we don't have this level of viciousness that I've seen. Okay? We don't repeatedly lie like that. Okay? We don't go around slandering other people. We don't have a problem with speech like this person does. Okay? Yet this person is desperately trying to convince people that she's on the spectrum. Well, sorry, but I don't believe you. Yeah, I think you're a fake.
You are a troll, or you would show your face.
Again, this person is a liar. This troll nonsense has been debunked to death in my publicly available videos. Okay, the same videos where you're able to see my face. Yeah, it's so stupid.
The fact that you dismiss science, education, and facts over your own esteemed opinion is just more proof positive.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Yeah, she literally views these disgusting accusations as the evidence. Yeah, where merely accusing someone of something is proof that it's true. Well, yeah, in that case, you're a murderer. Yeah. And hey, because I accused you of it, well, clearly that's proof that it's true, isn't it? But just as it is with her liar accusation, I asked her to show me where I dismiss science, education, and facts and all that, and have a guess what she provides. That's right. She provides nothing. Because she's just a slanderous liar.
You made a whole 20-plus minute diatribe with edits about this group, talking about how shit the group is, how ignorant these people are, and how you disagree with virtually every single tenet of the guidelines.
No, it isn't. Okay, the entire video is showing people what I've seen in the group and giving people my legitimate criticism of that content. Okay? And everyone can see that. Everyone can look at my video and see that it's not a diatribe. Okay, and see that I don't just call people ignorant, and people can also see just how incredibly dishonest this person is. And then he finds it funny that I posted legitimate criticism in the group.
Who do you want an apology from and what for?
And then Little Miss Liar makes up some more garbage about me. Okay, I explain what I want a retraction for in the video. So basically, they didn't even bother to watch my video. And if all the accusations they've made about me weren't disgusting enough, they start pathologizing me and making up all sorts of diagnoses. Could it be a personality disorder, or a narcissistic personality disorder, or borderline personality disorder? Your tone is that of a clinical narcissist with avoidance issues. And this is just for talking about the spectrum. Yeah, this is what I get just for being an advocate.
It's basically a challenge to attack you.
Unreal. Yeah, okay. When someone gives legitimate criticism, normal people don't view them as wanting to be attacked. It's mental.
I find your videos entertaining. If only there weren't blatant attempts at devaluing and undermining the community that would, given the opportunity, fully accept your glaring flaws and inability to learn from your mistakes or ingratiate yourself to any social group.
Okay, I run and operate a social group. When I posted my video, I had no idea that there exists people who are so incredibly lobotomized to the point that they view merely voicing legitimate criticism as, not just a mistake, but devaluing and undermining the community. Yeah. And people who are that deluded, that view their own little safe space bubble as the community, and just think their own extremist ideas are the norm for AS people. Isn't that amazing? It's not my legitimate criticism that devalues their extremist ideas. Okay? It's that they were so weak and fragile in the first place. Okay? That when you apply even the slightest bit of scrutiny, they just fall apart. Yeah, and that's why they need to defend them by censoring and slandering people that dare to talk about their dumb ideas. Okay, because that's all they can do to support these extremist ideas, because their ideas are just nonsense that doesn't stand on its own merits. Do these guys honestly think that their ideas will be compelling out in the real world, and outside of their little bubble of delusion? Because let me tell you, in an open marketplace of ideas, their appalling ideas will be eviscerated. Okay, yet they want to tie that nonsense to AS people everywhere. No way in hell. Okay? It'll be a death sentence for acceptance, and a far greater threat to AS people than Autism Speaks ever was. And as I'm trying to type these replies to these horrid slanderers, right, the reply field keeps jumping down, because you have this childish idiot right here posting these pictures every few seconds. Just look at this. Look at this childish nonsense. And he's that stupid that he actually views it as some sort of refutation.
So you attack this group in a video and then post it in the group you're attacking.
Again, there was no attack from me. This nonsense. The video is publicly available. People can watch the video and see that it's just legitimate criticism and that this guy is just a slanderer.
Dude, the video has irrelevant footage from weird people throwing tantrums and being abusive.
Well, dude, you weren't paying attention then. Those clips I have in the video are of feminists. And that bad behavior is what people think of when they hear the word feminist. And it's like that because feminism as a movement was overrun by extremists, where the enemy used to be capitalism. Then that shifted and suddenly the enemy was patriarchy, essentially all men. And now they're inundated with these extremists that make feminism look absolutely horrid. Okay? Christina Hoff Sommers actually does quite a good job detailing what happened in her book, Who Stole Feminism? And now that same threat of extremism seeks to destroy the legitimacy and rational discourse for AS people. So yeah, it's pretty damn relevant.
Moromillas Radec, you have been a member of this group for a solid 3 weeks. You, as far as I can recall, haven't actually participated in the group up until tonight.
Again, this is not true. If this person had actually watched my video, they would have seen the part where I talk about my first time talking to these people. I had a casual debate with them about their strange ideas, where they couldn't substantiate any of it. Then I was falsely accused of being a troll, which has already been debunked to death in my videos. Then I was threatened with being kicked. And that's what my very first post was like with these guys. Could you imagine what it's like for other AS people that join them and merely ask a question as well?
You then post a ridiculous video accusing us of being extremists.
Except my legitimate criticisms are not accusations, okay? I'm not misrepresenting the group or making up stuff about them. In the video, I show people what they're like, okay? I literally show on screen something from the group and then I criticize it, It's not an accusation to show people something from the group and then talk about it. It's something that actually, and pretending that it's just an accusation doesn't magically invalidate all of my criticisms of it. Then Cat Humble asks,
what is your agenda here?
Okay, my agenda, right, is abundantly clear for anyone that actually watches my videos. Okay, I want AS people to be accurately represented and eventually treated the same way that neurotypicals are treated, and to have the same quality of life that neurotypicals enjoy. Okay, I don't think that'll happen in my lifetime, but that's what I want. But these guys, they just want to take those hopes and dreams and just ream it into the fucking dirt.
What do you get out of saying such nasty things about a group of people?
Bullshit. Okay, it doesn't matter if you pretend that it's nasty. Okay, that's not a proper metric as to whether my criticisms are valid or not. Okay, see, the thing about dumb ideas is that they don't just go away if you leave them alone. Okay, you have to challenge them and refute them. And the extremism and incredibly stupid ideas that these guys have would indeed effectively kill our chances of acceptance and neurodiversity, especially if left unchecked and unchallenged.
You have disturbed this group to no end and made a video of slanderous statements. Why should I not remove you from this group?
Isn't that amazing? Hey, all these people are making up all these just vicious, slanderous things about me, saying I'm this and that and making up nonsense about my motives. And those same people turn around and pretend that I've done something wrong. It's extraordinary. It's like a nest of vipers where all the vipers bite you and then cry out in pain at the same time.
He's been removed from 2 other groups as well, Kat.
More than just 2 groups, which is, again, well documented, where people can see the evidence and see that I did nothing wrong. Put yourself in my shoes when you do absolutely nothing wrong, yet you receive all sorts of vicious slander and get kicked from groups. The problem is not the person. The problem is the groups. And this cancerous extremism that's developed.
He's also had 2 slanderous comments removed from Facebook and has had his account suspended once, or for behaviour similar to what is occurring in this thread.
Okay, that suspension that she's talking about are from posts that are publicly available, once again, where anyone can see that I didn't slander anyone. Okay, a long time ago, Richard Johnson and a few other people made up, some vicious slander about me, and kicked me from another group. I posted about it on my own Facebook wall, right? And none of my posts broke any community guidelines at all. Then Richard Johnson and friends go over to my Facebook wall and start writing up false flags for those posts, just to censor and silence me. It was a way of trying to stop me from talking about their appalling practices. And the suspension was triggered by too many false flags in such a short amount of time, which I disputed and won. And now the posts are still up there. So hopefully Facebook's system has improved a little bit since then. Yet this person pretends that I did something wrong, when in reality I had these horrid people try to censor and silence me. It's disgusting. Then Cat Humble says, had enough now, goodbye. So all of these horrid people, right, make up all sorts of nonsense about me. They don't even attempt to substantiate any of it, because it's plainly false to anyone that looks at the evidence. They repeatedly break their own rules, of no personal attacks and no defamation. They don't kick any of those people. No, of course not. Instead, they kick the target of that disgusting slander. It's appalling. Then after I'm kicked out, I get this in private messages, calling me a sulky baby, pretending that there's some awful motive with my videos, asking if I've been diagnosed yet. asking if I've apologized for existing and saying that I need to do that, then laughing when I get kicked from the group. But then he says something very interesting. Hi, it looks like the name on this timeline isn't even a real name. Here's info on how to change it. Okay? And he's talking about my timeline, as in the timeline on my Facebook wall. He even dropped an awful comment on one of the videos I posted on my Facebook wall. So it appears to me that he's actually scanning through my Facebook wall, looking for private information on me. Presumably looking for a place where I work or study so they can contact them and make up even more slanderous lies in an attempt to get me fired. Okay? And these sorts of people do that sort of thing all the time, and they have no qualms doing it. It's pretty scary, isn't it? These people, they just have no sense of decency. There's no conscience. There's no shame to it. There's no empathy at all. These people, they're sick, and they're pretending to be on the spectrum, yet they're nothing like the AS people I've met in real life. So no, I don't believe that they're on the spectrum. I don't believe it for a second. And if they are, they're an absolute embarrassment to AS people everywhere. And these people try and pretend that they're not extremists, that it's just ridiculous accusations, Yet they have a problem with people speaking, but no, they're not extremists. They lie and make up vicious slander about anyone that speaks, but they're not extremists. They kick people that do nothing wrong. Again, not extremist. They're lobotomized to the point where they view legitimate criticism as not just inappropriate, but some sort of attack. But no, they're not extremist. They legitimize their horrid actions by pretending that my video itself was horrid. But no, they're not extremists. They've no problem pathologizing anyone that speaks. Not extremists, no. They actually view kicking and slandering people as a normal way of refuting ideas. Not extremist. Okay? They pretend that the accusation itself is evidence of that accusation. Again, not extremist. They go through my Facebook wall looking for private information on me. But hey, they're not extremist. No, of course not. They're not extremist, guys. They're not extremist. Except they damn well are. And anyone with half a brain should be quite alarmed and concerned by what's going on here.